as the boat takes off, you don't hear the kind of splashing of the hull anymore. It goes very silent.
And I turn around and there's a lot of blood on the boat, and it's just identifying who was injured.
We all knew what was going to happen next, and sure enough, she went straight down, and unluckily it sort of jibed in the process as well and broke the wing. And
once the boats break clear of the water, the acceleration with just the hydrofoils is just incredible. You kind of left where you are, your body's back there, but the boat's gone, you know. And
the waves came up and you saw boats, you know, crashing more, and it was a bit more challenging for sure.
And as we sort of started sailing over the area, I just said to the guys, look, we've got to reset here. I know it's tough, we all just got hurt in that crash, but we've got to keep pushing.
Is this just like a hobby, or is that your dream to be a skipper of one of those?
The people who skipper those boats are very, very talented. So that's, you know, that's a big goal, but I think it'd be really cool to be able to sail one of those.
Karen Lile is with us at Sail Sports Talk, and we had the Sail GP race out here in San Francisco over the weekend for the first time. Sir Russell Coutts is the co-founder along with Larry Ellison.
Sail GP, it's really the first of its kind. We like Formula One on the water, so we race a number of races all over the world and go back to the same venues each year. These are super fast boats and national teams, so it's year-round racing, it's an annual competition.
The thing is, too, Karen, this guy, his curriculum vitae, his experience is pretty amazing. Tell us a little bit more about Russell Coutts.
Well, he's a world champion New Zealand yachtsman. His achievements include a gold medal in the thin class in the 1984 Olympic Games, and he also won America's Cup 5 times. So
wow.
He's somebody who not only helped initiate the Sail GP concept with Larry Ellison, but he actually has the skills and the chops himself.
The only rule is that the teams have to use the same equipment. It really comes down to the team that uses that technology and sails the boat the best. It's got to be among the top 3 sailing venues. Might even be the best, you know, in the world.
He did say, I saw this on the Chronicle, Russell Coutts said, quote, San Francisco is everything we hoped it would be. It provided a spectacular backdrop for our United States debut and a fantastic challenge for our world-class athletes and an exciting spectacle for the fans. And the thing that really, end quote, the thing that really stuck out for me there, Karen, is the term athletes. Now, I meet these guys. Even Ian looked like he was a linebacker over here. What would be like if you could get into one of those crews? And obviously you'd have to start at the bottom like everybody. What would be that one job? Like, all right, well, we'll let you do this. What would it be?
Possibly the grinder. This is what what they've done with the China and Japan teams is that since it's nation against nation, and technically every boat is supposed to only have people who were born and are residents of the nation that they represent. But with China and Japan, they don't have enough of a pool of sailors who have experience that can go into boats at this level. So what they've done is they've made the grinder role, which is a real muscular role. You have to train and work out for it.
It sounds like it.
Yeah,
you know, like grinding.
Yeah.
With this, as Commodore Bumpus said, he said they're screaming. And they are. I mean, you're looking at San Francisco Bay. We know how fast tankers go and tugboats and regular sailboats. And I couldn't believe when I saw these things. They looked like they were on the freeway. It was absolutely unreal.
There's no reason to not expect these boats to, in years to come, to top 60 knots, for example.
our CEO, Russell Coutts, is extremely passionate about getting the kids involved, more than a lot of people realise.
Yes, well, we'll be announcing part of that youth program later this year in Coutts, so that's going to be the start of it. We'll have 3 phases to that program. I'm not going to say too much more about that program at the moment, but it will be an opportunity.
I think Kimball's joining us here. We get an opportunity to have Kimball Livingston with us.
Kimball Livingston with us. He is an author, a racer, and staff commodore of the St. Francis Yacht Club. So Sail JP, Kimball made its debut in the United States, and it was a big hit, wasn't it?
I think it was. Everybody I've talked to who started out a skeptic was sold. That's the sailing community. I haven't yet found out about the rest of the city, but I think probably. It's very much like the 2013 America's Cup, when a new type of high-speed sailing was invented. It took a while for it to penetrate, but once people got it, they got it. The thing that SailGP needs is the people aspect. People don't go to Warriors basketball games for the basketball. They go for the people. They go for Kevin Durant.
The stars.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, that's very interesting to hear that. What were some of the, you said there were people who were skeptical. Were they skeptical because it wasn't traditional, or they didn't want the bay being invaded by these super fast boats? What was it?
I think the lack of tradition. That's it more than anything else. As Russell Coutts says, Russell being the CEO of SailGP and the instigator, really the mastermind of it, the sport needs an elite level that is aspirational for that rare segment of people who can start out young, develop, aspire, and become the equivalent of a Grand Prix driver.
And you've also been involved with America's Cup. So this race, SailGP, how is that different from America's Cup?
The type of boats are actually very similar. They began with the America's Cup. This was Russell Coutts' vision some years ago to develop really high-speed, high-tech catamarans. And the first time that we saw boats racing using solid wings instead of soft sails was in the 2013 America's Cup. But the America's Cup itself is a very structured, archaic institution. And it's not easy to explain or to understand. SailGP is very easy to explain because it is a professional international circuit. It right now has 6 teams. There's a lot of money being poured into it. And it's all coming from Larry Ellison, who has this vision that if he keeps it going long enough, it will take off on its own steam. But it's very much like a Grand Prix racing circuit going from track to track. That much is easy. The America's Cup goes back to 1851, and it all happened by accident. The Americans sent a boat over to England to race in the Queen's Jubilee. And they had the gall to name their boat America.
And then there was a challenge.
Yes.
Yes.
This is great stuff. I wish we had more time. Kimball Livingston, author, racer, staff commodore of the St. Francis Yacht Club. Thanks for coming in. Great history lesson. Karen Lile, Sail Sports Talk. Thanks for coming in.
We'll see you next Tuesday at 9:37.
So you can see the US team now with the British team. The US team, of course, with the brilliant graphics. I love that, actually. And then the British team carrying kind of